morning, Holly. Yeah, I was out of town last week. I don't really say anything just because sometimes I do have sessions or meetings or I know I'm going to need Monday off. So but I just don't, like to necessarily let the world know that I'm not home. Although we had someone staying here. Not like I have anything. I mean, I have guitars, but you'd be pretty stupid to steal and try to sell guitars because those are, like you take them to the Guitar Center, they can't sell them for 30 days. And I have serial numbers for everything, and I would report everything as stolen, and it would be on file, and Guitar Center would get the guitar in, and they would see it, and they go, they would call the police, and the person would lose that item, but also they would not, they might get arrested. Interestingly, Alex was looking at microphones on, what was he looking, he was on Craigslist looking at microphones, and he was looking at Neumann, I think a U87 or something, and it was like $5,000, or maybe it was like $3,500, and it was like a vintage Neumann, and those are worth more than $5,000. They're like, could be $7,000 or $8,000. It didn't have the power supply, which was kind of a weird thing, and it had these decals on it, like numbered, like it had a number 10 on it or something. And so Alex sent it to Josh Goodwin, who's my friend that works with Justin Bieber, and Josh goes, "Oh my gosh, that's microphone is actually from whatchamacallit, what studio was that from? Record Plant in LA, in Hollywood." And so Josh let Record Plant know. Record Plant called the pawn shop where it was at, because the pawn shop was the one doing the Craigslist thing, and they had to give it to him. It was, they'd reported it stolen, I guess. That's the crazy thing. I mean, I go to these sessions, in studios, and I got a guitar case. I could throw mics in, and I could throw in thousands of dollars worth of mics in my guitar case. Just walk out of there. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I don't know if I doubt they caught the person that did it originally, because that person was around to be able to, sell the mic to a pawn shop or put it in a pawn shop. So anyway, let's say hi. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Oh, no video, no sound? Oh, really? Huh. Oh, refreshed. Okay, good. Because at first when I logged in, the camera wasn't working, so I had to unplug it from the USB port and plug it back in. Immediately came on. So first line of defense right there. Oh yeah, that's right. You've had some fires up there. Yeah, we had maybe 2 weeks ago. I came out of church and you could smell smoke. I think they got ahead of it though, and it was nothing. It was pretty far away, I think. But yeah, I forgot. It is fire season. 'Tis the season. And you have to be vigilant. I know Holly is vigilant about clearing the brush, and it's got to be a lot of work. Unbelievable work. But hopefully you do it in the winter when it's a little cooler. What's the town? Reading. Are you anywhere? No, are you near Reading at all? I always think of Reading so far north, but it gets so hot in Reading. Like they get 100-degree temperatures in the summer. It's like a valley, like a desert valley or something. Kind of like, technically LA. People freak out when we get 100 degrees, and I'm like, you live in a desert, right? It's been 100 degrees here for hundreds of thousands of years. So, yeah. Oh, weedy by the beginning. Okay, that's good. Do you ever get like goats you rent goats to eat your brush. Yeah, I saw up to it's up yeah, up to 132,000. Is that where we're at? Still never gonna get to 1 million, Bruce. It's not gonna happen. In fact, if I really do this school thing, um, I will still do YouTube, but these videos will not be up on YouTube. I probably will host them myself. I was talking to a friend of mine who's kind of an IT guy last night, and he said that's definitely the way to go. So probably what it will be is the school thing will be at my website. I'll have a website for it, and and then I will pay to have storage. I don't know how much I'll need. I mean, these videos can be, if they're pretty good quality, but yeah, if you blow them up, and I don't know if I'll make them downloadable, although I'm sure you could find a way to download all the videos if you want. But I think the plan is to have them you can do full screen with them. So I'm going to want them to be decent quality videos, 1080 at least, maybe 4K. Is that same? I don't know. And my friend last night was kind of encouraging me to do it myself. The only problem is it's a little daunting. And the editing, I can shoot like that last video I did. I don't know if you've seen it, but the Dad progressions. How's that doing, by the way? I mean, it took me 30 minutes to shoot. Well, once I got it, a good take, it was 30 minutes of footage total. Okay, but it took me 2 weeks to finish editing it. Now, it didn't take me 2 weeks of time. It just was like I'd start working on it, I get an hour in, and I get tired. And I actually had done some of the graphics beforehand because I knew what chords I was going to show you. So anytime I had some downtime, I would sit down at my laptop and I'm using Word. And that's one of the things I don't like about the video. Now, it's pretty darn good. I would show it to Beth. Most people don't even notice. But I feel like the size of the chord diagrams are all slightly different from each other. When you do a crossfade, it's not super obvious. Well, it's got almost 1,200 views, which doesn't sound like much, but to be honest, that's pretty good for my videos as of late. And again, I do have an ad in the middle. It's not perfect. I've got 89 likes. Somebody didn't like it. There was one non-like, and that's fine. I don't care. I'm trying to think. I think I got a comment, probably. Comments are always, I talk too much, and it's like, okay, fine. I don't care. I'll have, I've done screen grabs where I had one comment that said, "You talk too much, awful YouTuber," and then the next comment is, "You are the best YouTuber there is. You're the greatest teacher." I just love that. It's like, yeah, everybody's different strokes. I rub people the wrong way. I know I do. I wear people out. So yeah. Yeah, but my goal to do the school thing would be like 35 videos to start with PDFs. And if I were, and the videos I figure are going to be between 10 and 15 minutes each, is my guess. Kind of the meat and potatoes of a lesson, but they might go a little longer, especially if I decide to play, again, these are going to be known songs. It's going to be a lot of riffs, a lot of intros, a lot of things like that. You're not going to learn, in the first 35 lessons, I don't think there'll be one complete song, maybe a couple, like campfire type songs that will be complete songs. The idea is just to get the dexterity going, learn a little bit of theory, very, very little bit of theory, very little bit of learning how to read music, more of just kind of like, there it is. If you catch on, great. If not, don't worry about it. Well, this is, and people, I get complaints about this being too chatty, or the lesson didn't start until 20 minutes in, or 30 or 40 or 50 minutes in. And that's because we built a community here. This is just my live. This is just, not only are we live streaming, not only am I live streaming, I'm stream of consciousness. So this is live stream of consciousness is what this is. I don't really have a plan. I mean, I kind of have I know the theme of today, and we talked about it 2 weeks ago. And I don't even remember what I talked about 2 weeks ago. I actually remember a bit. We talked about the scales, learning the D major scales on each of the strings. And once you have that, now you've got your melody notes already there, so you can start, Yeah, so you can't really hear that melody because on the top string it's quiet. If I play it maybe on the middle too. But then you get that, get kind of a weird rub there, so that's where I might want to put in the G chord. Oops, I want this. I can teach you one thing right now, real easy, super duper easy. Put your first finger on the first fret of the third string. And that's the dadgad tuning right there. So now you're in dadgad. In fact, you can get, if I tune that to G, we got dadgad. We're really one half step away from dadgad with open D. And so this is open D tuning, and I'm out of tune right now. So let me just. And I was up early this morning. We were in New York. We were in New York last week. Got a tour of the CIA by the president. And I'm just going to let that sentence ruminate for a while. We indeed got a personal tour of the CIA by the president. Oh, is that where you live, Gary? I don't know why I thought you were in Michigan or Wisconsin. You know where I was. Yeah, we actually did. We almost went to FDR's home. I was just so sleepy. We had walked a lot in New York City the day before. We were in Manhattan for a couple days and did 25,000 steps in Central Park, which is just the most amazing park. I mean, I've been in, Hyde Park and what's the Luxembourg Gardens, and I've been in some beautiful parks, but it's amazing how you get about a half a block into Central Park and you don't feel like you're in the city at all. And there were times, keep in mind we were there on a Monday. On a weekend, it's not like this, but there were times we were coming up on paths, things like that. We didn't have it. We were the only ones on the paths. We come up on a people here or there, and then you come on a big crowd every now and then, but not very often. Hey, Christopher, what's going on? Oh, you're in Long Island. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know where Long Island is. Hamptons. Okay, so now I'm back in open D. D, A, D, F sharp, A. I'm sorry. Yeah, A, D. And like I said, the first thing you're going to want to do in this, I think, is just to kind of map out the whole step, the major. And the nice thing, okay, we can also do Lydian. So I could show you, we could totally do Lydian. So like if we put our second finger, or not any finger on the second fret of the third string, that is a G sharp, and that gives this a whole Lydian vibe. Okay, so there's three major keys. You have Lydian, Mixolydian, and Ionian, which is also just called major. All right, and the one I have written down here is D major. Let me write out D Lydian and D Mixolydian for you. Okay, I'm going to have to make it smaller, but we can do this. Yeah, I was up early at 6 this morning since I was on Easter time. I was doing a session for a client in China at 6 this morning. Hopefully they're happy with it. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see now. What was I going to look up? Oh, I was going to change this. All right, where's that? No? Oh, not screen. Oh, I see. It's the first one. There it is. Okay. All right, so give me a second and I'll have to resize it, but we're going to we'll do D Lydian first. And D Lydian is the same. It's D, E, F sharp. And then G sharp instead of G, A, B, C sharp, D. All right? So you're only changing one note. And then D Mixolydian, we're taking the seventh note, that's C sharp, and we're going to go down a half step with that. So it's actually less sharps. All right? So that means that we can do... so that'd be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. Right now I'm going to have to make this whole thing a little smaller so that it fits. All right. Hopefully you can still see that. There we go. All right. Does that make sense? All right. So if we were to go on the top string, yeah, it totally sounds like Zeppelin. Okay, so let's play the D major scale. Let's just play on the top string. I'm going to use a pick just to get it a little louder. Okay, open, second fret. That's a whole step. See the formula over here? You can memorize that. That'll help you with all the major scales. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So I go. Right. The chorus is Dorian. You're right. Yep. They use two different D keys on the song Norwegian Wood. Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Dorian. That's right. Yeah. I mean, the verses are Mixolydian and the choruses are, I guess, choruses. The A section. Back then, songs were A, form. That it wasn't so much verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, whatever. It was different. The A form was very, very common. We talked about that in video, I think, on songwriting. Okay, so just on the top string, D, E, F sharp. We're going to go to play just a plain old G here. 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, and then 12th fret. Backwards. Oh, is it capoed? I never think about it. I thought it was in D, but yeah, makes sense. It's totally do. Okay, so that's just... And again, just as a reminder, we have 3 Ds, so that's the scale on all 3 of those D strings. Now, you can give these notes numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The way we create a Lydian is we take that 4th degree, the 4th note in the scale, and we go up a half step. So I would say it's 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't that cool? So, and again, we have 3 D strings, so it's real easy to find that scale. So all you have to remember, to create a Lydian, you take the major scale and go take the 4th note up 1 fret, or a half step. Okay, to create the Mixolydian scale, we go back to the D major scale, and we go to the 7th note, and we go down a half step. So instead of playing the 11th fret, we're going to play the 10th fret, okay? And so all you have to remember is flat the 7th to create a Mixolydian scale. And that sounds like this. I'm going to do a top string, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. And it's more common in blues. You can hear that. It's not as pretty and happy. That's where you get the D7 chord from, is that kind of Mixolydian tone. All right, so there's just a lot of, and then of course, D Lydian, the relative major to D Lydian, and there won't be, everybody take a sip, there won't be a quiz on this, is A major. But if you take the A string, okay, this is one of the A strings, the 2nd string is A, and you play a major scale on that. So you do the same thing you did here, but you do it on the 2nd string, the exact same frets. That's technically an A major scale, but also against the D, it sounds like a D Lydian scale. You're so right, it totally sounds like Zeppelin though, doesn't it? And don't forget, we have 2 A strings. So I can go. Oh, is it? Because I'm digging in so hard on that little stuff. I do have a EQ put on here to try to clean that up a little bit, but I was strumming really hard. Okay, so and generally when I'm playing in open tunings, I'm usually doing finger picking stuff. But also, so if we, like I said, D Lydian is relative to A major, and D Mixolydian is relative to the key of G. So the notes in the key in D Mixolydian are the same as the notes in the key of G major. And with those 2 new keys, the key of A and the key of G, we have different 1, 4, 5 chords. And so, like for example, you might want to, if you're playing in D Mixolydian, you've got this C chord. Ooh, that's beautiful. And so all I'm playing right there, I'm not playing the 5th string. I'm playing 6th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string. And so I'm playing this 10th fret, nothing, 10th fret, 10th fret, open, open. So technically what I'm playing is C, C, E, and then an A and a D. So it's kind of a C chord with a 6th and a 2nd, kind of a suspended C chord. there's the 1 chord G, and that's also kind of a G2 chord because I got that B string ringing out. I'm sorry, the A string ringing out now. The B string, it became an A string. So we have G, G, B, A, and D. So that's a G2 chord, and then our D chord. Play that. So what we're technically playing in the key of G, this is the 4 chord, this is the 1 chord, and this is the 5 chord. Now if I wanted to go 4, 5, 1, I might do something like this. Is the guitar sounding better, Holly? So that C, I guess I would call it like a C6, 9. The junior high tom would be laughing right now. And that would be 10, X, 10, 10, 0, 0. I know it looks kind of weird. I'll put spaces in here. But basically that's the hand pattern that I'm using. For all 3 of the, well, yeah, for all 3 of those chords, because when I just take that up to the 12th fret, now I'm playing a D chord. You can even just do harmonics if you want. I agree, Chris. I agree. That's exactly how I think of it too. Beatles song right there. What song is? What Beatles song was that? I think that's how it ends. Hey Bob, what's going on? Good to see you. Is Dennis in? I didn't see Dennis. So, you can't do that. Thank you, Gary. That's right. So many good songs. So, everybody say hi to Bob. I'll wait. All right. So yeah. But you can still be decentric, okay? You can have it's very common to have a mixolydian chord progression. I'll show you one, not on the lute. Because I'm tuned. Everybody take a sip, I'm changing guitars. There was paper on the floor from sessions. Oh, beautiful. What a lovely sound that is. Woo! Well, oh really? B string is sharp. Guitar hasn't been played in a week, so it's like, hey, come on, man. Play me. Okay, but think about how many songs are. What I like about you. Or of songs that use just those 3 chords. Well, that's song's not technically in E, but it's not in E major. It's in E mixolydian. It's technically in the key of A, but you wouldn't end any of those songs on an A chord. So that's why it's technically the song is in an E chord, E key. You wouldn't end it like that. You would end it on that chord. All of those songs. There's a million of them. Okay, everybody take another sip. I'm changing back to another guitar, back to the original. Okay, so that's my point. You don't have to end your progression or think of your progression as being in the key of G because you're playing. All right. Now let's see, where's another G? So we got, this is A. That's not a great. Well, now, so here's a G chord right here. Look at this. I'm just doing my fingers in a diagonal. We're learning together. It's a very special time. Very special time to learn together. So it's 10, 9, 8. And that's got the open A string. So that's a 2. But it's kind of cool because you've got the G and the A and the B all right in a row, and then you have the D, and then you have another D up here. You could resolve that, maybe. You could also do, but basically, but you wouldn't want to hit the low E string, or the low D string. But if you want a G chord that's right there. Good to find, obviously, it's always good to find different ways to play the same chord, so you have different, yeah, exactly. Holly, it's exactly right. You can slide that C down to B flat. Woo! Woo, what a sexy chord that is. Go to the A, to G, to F, to E, E flat. All of them, most of them work. G sharp doesn't work very good. B flat, A sharp doesn't work very good. C sharp major, C sharp minor works okay, but C sharp major not so much. But basically, 12th fret, 10, 12, 10, was that 8, 7, and then 7, 5, and then you can go chromatically down 3, 2, 1, 0. They all have, and it's kind of a lesson in common tones, but it's the top 2 strings are the common tones for all of those chords, and they have different. On the D chord, that A is the 5th, and the B is the root, and on the C chord, that A is now a 6th, and the D is now becomes the 2nd. On the B flat chord, that A is a beautiful major 7th, and then the D is the 3rd. If I go to the A chord, the A major, that A is a root, and then the D though is the 4, and you're playing that against the 3. Get that cluster sound. Which again, whenever you play those, you play a semitone, which is just half a step. Like that, it sounds dissonant, but when you put it in the context of the chord, I'm not changing anything. It sounds beautiful. That's one of the cool things about music. It just blows my mind. And then G, again, that becomes, the A string becomes the 2nd in relation to the G chord. It's not going to be a quiz on this, don't worry, I'm just showing you this. The top 2 strings are open on all of these chords, and so they all have a different relationship to the home chord. We could call this the home chord, the G chord. So that's the 2nd, and this is the 5th. I go down to that F, and that A becomes the 3rd of F, the key of A. See, those are the same note right there. The 3rd string and the 2nd string are the same note. And then, thank you, Bruce. And then that D note is a 6, so this is like an F6 chord. And then here I have the E major, I have a G sharp against the A and the D, so this is kind of like a E7 add 4. Beautiful chord. Again, one of those moments where we have a semitone that if you just heard isolated like that wouldn't sound very good, but in the context of the chord, it's amazing sounding. Amazing. And then here we have E flat. So what's going on here? Well, E flat, G, and then we have an A, which is a Lydian thing. So that's a sharp 4, and then we have the D, which is the major 7. It's the thing that Christopher was talking about, kind of the double leading tone. Both those notes want to go up. And they're leading. That's what leading tones are. They lead up a half step to the next tone, okay? So it'll be like... All right, and then the last one. Again, back to the open D chord, we have the 5th and the root. Okay, and the reason I thought of all this, the two different modes, is because I was thinking I was going to show you one thing, like we do the sus on the D chord, we can do that on the A chord. So you bar at the 7th fret all 6 strings, and hammer on the same fret, or play the 8th fret of the 3rd string, and you get an A sus. But if you do the same thing on the G, which totally works, it has very pinball wizard sound, right? Has that kind of vibe. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he played it in the recording. But not all of those chords are in the key of D. So like this is, it's a great it's a great way to kind of see how on the 1 and the 5 chord, the sus4 is in key. But the sus4 and the 4 chord is out of key. So if you want to stay in key, you're going to have to go to a sharp 4. And there's a Lydian sound. But I love the sound of the sus, the plain old sus4 on the G chord, which is the 5th fret barred, because it totally makes it sound woodsy, bluesy, rock, country. It has all of those things. The Lydian thing just goes right to film score. So you can avoid that. It's okay. When I was playing Little Martha, all I'm doing there is I'm doing all the suspensions, right? We talked about this last week. We have the sus4 here, the sus6 here, and the sus2 here. So if I do what looks like an A major 7 chord or a D7 chord moved up 1 fret or 1 string each to the ceiling, towards the ceiling like this. So I'm playing open, open, 2, 1, 2, 1, or sorry, 2, open, open on top. Open, open, 2, 1, 2, open. That's all the sus. That's about as sus as you can get. just did an E shape, you get the same. You get all the susses. And all of the susses work, the sus 2, sus 4, and sus 6 all work on the A chord. They're all still, we're still in the key of D. But if I go to the G chord, all of them are in the key. The 2 and the 6 sus are in the key. The sus 4 is not. If I wanted to stay in key and go do that Lydian vibe, then I'd make it like looks like a sus chord here. Ironic. But you can do any of those susses. See, I'm sussing all 4 again, or all 3. I'm taking all 3 notes of the triad, the D, the F sharp, and the A, and I'm going up to E, G, and B. So I'm basically playing an E minor chord on top of the D chord. But you could do any 1 or 2 or all 3 of them. Okay, so like I could do the 6-5 sus. I could do the 2-1. I could do the 4-1. Were you there all? Oh, no, you just got on. Okay. But if I do like the 2 and the 4 sus, I can also slide that E shape, which is, again, this E shape, ironically, is actually an E minor triad on top of this D chord. I can slide that up, becomes an F sharp minor triad, which is just kind of like a D major 7 almost. Remember, bread. I got a funny story about that. That's it. Oh yeah, Keith Richards. Yep, that was his bread and butter. Was the sus 2 and the 4. Well, sus. He would do the sus 6 and 4 a lot. So basically, I'm just playing the 2nd fret of the 5th string and 1st fret of the 3rd string, okay, and then take it off. So that would be like 0 2 0 1 0 0 to 0 0 0 0 0 0. That would be kind of a Keith Richards-y kind of vibe if you want to do that. And then you just do it in front of the bar. Except he would do it in open G. So it would be, actually it's the same voicing. The 2-1 is also cool. I love that a lot. But he sometimes did that one too. Sometimes you go. I think of, it's in A, I think. I mean, Mellencamp sang so high. I love those young boys. There's a girl like you. what's the name of that song? Hurts so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. But that, he starts out with a 2/4 suspension, resolved, and then 6/5. Oops. I'm with all the tuning. So I think David Gates from Bread was from Tulsa, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody check that, but I think it was Tulsa, not Oklahoma City. So my friend Robert Gates, who I've known, gosh, since he was in high school. I've probably known him as long as I've known Beth, probably 38 years, something like that. Yeah, I'm an Indiana start. But the he's David Gates is his uncle, my friend Bob. That's his dad's brother. And all three of those kids, David, and Bob's dad, I think, was known as Johnny Gates, and Johnny Gates was second in command at NASA JPL for decades. He was a big JPL guy, Jet Propulsion Labs. And then the other brother, I don't remember his name, but he owned something like 30 Taco Bells in Florida or something. All three of those guys were super successful and super in their fields, and super hard workers, motivated and everything. And I think David Gates is a very good songwriter. I mean, I really, really like, the Bread stuff. The Diary's a great song. There's so many great Bread songs. Indiana's Best, whatever, Gary. You're just such a kiss up. You're trying to get a gold star, aren't you? Do I have gold stars? I don't know. Can I give a gold star to Gary? I don't know. Let me see I'll click on this little icon here, see what happens. Oh, I got lots of stuff. Do I have a gold star? Oh, I can search. Star. Okay. Oh, look. I can give you a gold star. I can give you 2 gold stars. Gary gets a gold star for being a kiss up. So David, but anyway, David Gates, the main guy of Bread, he is basically Bread. Wrote all the songs. They had their first hit, and I think "Make It With You" was the first hit, and they did an article on him in his hometown newspaper. He went back to his hometown, and the newspaper printed, I wonder if there's a copy of this somewhere. They thought the name of the song was "Naked With You." So they put in there, David Gates, hometown hero, the singer of "Naked With You," in the newspaper. And this would have been 71 or something? So anyway, that's my David Gates story directly from the horse's mouth. Mixolydian. Sam's joined the... That's true. Michael Jackson's also from Indiana. Yeah, Jim Jones was from Indiana, and Charles Manson was from Indiana too, and Florence Henderson. Joyce DeWitt. Jim Nabors, should I go on? Trust me, all us Hoosiers know who the famous Hoosiers are. I mean, seriously, I could go on. Most of them are. I think John Dillinger was actually from Indiana too. Benjamin Harrison, the shortest president, I think the shortest term president, was it 28 days in office or something like that? It's funny because Pawnee, if you watch Parks and Rec, which is hilarious, Parks and Rec Pawnee is actually the building that they use for Pawnee is Pasadena City Hall. I'm like, there's no city hall like that in Indiana, and there's also no mountains in Indiana. They keep showing like they're at the park, and then in the background are mountains, and I'm like, yeah, that's. Oh, Charles Manson. Well, look it up. That's super. You know, Wikipedia will help you there. I know he spent some time in Indiana, but I had a list of Hoosiers that I would often go to. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I could get rid of that. Can I do that? Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, I could list a lot of Hoosiers. So, if we were to do, so that was D mixolydian had a C chord in it to a G chord to a 1 chord. If we were to do A mixolydian, that would be A chord. I'm sorry, not A mixolydian, A major. If we did D Lydian, it would be relative to A major. And the 1 chord is here. We have a 4 chord, that E chord, beautiful, and then to the D chord. So I'm 7x7. So really kind of doing a, I would call this an A7 add 4. And that's basically going to be 7x7700. Okay. And then, wait, no, that's not right. Sorry, my bad. And ignore that. Oh, can I delete it? I can delete it. Let me delete it. Remove. All right. I would just call this an A add 4, or I like to call it just an A4. Oops, that's not what I wanted. That's what I want. Okay. And so that would be 7x7700. Right? There we go. Cincinnati, Ohio. So we were both wrong. But I think he spent a lot of time. You know, it's a sad story. I mean, he spent so much of his time. His aunt sold him for a 6-pack of beer when he was a little boy to someone. He was in. Oh, so 30 days. All right. Thanks, Gary. Fact checkers. I need a team of 19 fact checkers. Okay, and then the E chord. This is the one that's the E7 because it has a D in it and it has an A in it. So E7 add 4. This is a great sounding chord. And all it is 2, nothing, 2, 2, 0, 0. So just have to mute that bottom A, that A string, the 5th string. And then you go to the D chord. And there's your 1, 5, you can go to 1, 4, 5, And if I don't want any of those weird notes, I can just go. So I can play any song in the key of A, you know. The problem is the minor chords are really hard to grab. So I have F sharp minor. The 6th chord in the key of A is going to be hard. The minor chords are always hard to play in open D because you're tuned to an open major chord, and you can't, like I could make a G minor if I did something like this. Wait a minute, what do I want? I want this, and then borrow all of this or something. But that's just not. Here's D. Oh, play E minor, and it's like, it's E minor is so easy in standard tuning, but basically you're kind of giving yourself permission when you're in open D to play happy songs. We could do open D minor. I think I did a video on that. I'd never really played an open D minor before. You could also play open D2, okay, and that would be taking this F sharp generally down to E. And now it's kind of like a dadgad situation where you don't really have a major or minor tonality. You can go D minor, a D major. But But I'm pretty sure Joyce DeWitt and Florence Henderson and Jim Nabors are from Indiana. Check my math on John Dillinger. I think he was born in Indiana too. Manson placed in a home West Virginia, lived there from around, but born in Cincinnati. Okay, it's weird. I thought there was a major. I read a whole thing on Manson. There's definitely some Indiana connection there. No. Okay, who's texting me? Oh. Live stream. Okay, so boom, boom, Indianapolis. Okay, caused a shot. Yeah, G-Men got him. Yeah. So John Dillinger and Jim Nabors, yeah, and John Mellencamp and Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's pretty crazy people for the most part. Michael Jackson was pretty crazy. Mellencamp's pretty crazy. I met John. I'm backstage at one of his shows, his LA show. I had backstage passes. I told you that story. So with arming us with these different keys, like in the key of, you don't even have to think of yourself in the key of G, or you could do any of these chords and still be in the key of D. Any of these, you know. And what happens if I get rid of that third string? It doesn't work. I need that third string covered. Indiana Boys School, Plainfield, yeah. What? Oh, Jim Nabors. Now, why did he always sang Back Home Again in Indiana? So that made me assume, oh, maybe, did he grow up in Indiana? Oh, great. I'm going to have fact checkers. I don't need fact checkers, because you can basically assume everything I recite is from a horrible memory. So I'm going to get things wrong. And none of these things matter, right? I'm not running for president. Just president of my own fan club. That's it. Yeah, Jane Pauley, that's right. And so was John Hyatt and David Letterman. In fact, David Letterman, Jane Pauley, and John Hyatt were all in the same high school class at Broad Ripple High School, I understand. So they probably would have been class of 68. Yeah. Michael Jackson's from Indiana. No, the whole Jackson family's from Indiana. So when you're writing in DADGAD or an open D, I mean, you almost automatically kind of go to a Travis pattern. And so just so you know, a Travis pattern is basically, the idea is that you're kind of setting yourself up to be able to play bass, chords, and melody. And it's kind of like bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. This is, bass line is, it's like, so if you just do that, hit the bottom string with your thumb, and then bring your thumb down and hit the fourth string and the third string, grab the third string with your first finger. You're just gonna pinch like that. Grab the two middle strings and do that. Pink Floyd was from Indiana. But there you can see the bass chord aspect of the Travis pattern. Bass chord, bass chord, bass chord. start with just moving around. Oh, that's right, Axl Rose. I forgot Axl Rose is from Indiana. I'd heard that. Yep, James Dean, that's right. Yeah, Hollywood royalty right there. What's your birthday? Today? Oh, Jane Pauley? Oh, no, February 6th. Axl Rose, yeah. Mine's in 2 days. No. Yeah, mine's in Wednesday. Okay, so I want to just practice that right now. You could change the bass note. Now we have a root, fifth, bass line. And if I want to make it kind of a little bit more like Merle Travis, I could, or Chet Atkins, I can mute the strings. So I'm collapsing my hand and kind of muting. I don't know if he would do it with that bad. But it's kind of a good place to start. And then if you just go back to just playing the bottom string with the bass, like that. Then separate the thumb and first finger on four. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But leading into 4 on the and of 3, we can separate this. So really, really slow. I'm going bottom string, and then I'm playing the middle 2 strings, and then I'm playing the bottom string, and then I'm playing the third string, then the fourth string. So I'm separating those 2 fingers that played together on beat 2. I'm separating them for the and of 3 and 4. So it's like this. And if I want, I could go. Add my second finger in there, and so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I live in. See, I live in. Oh no, I live in Indiana. I live in Indiana. No, I am. Was it? I am a leprechaun. I am a leprechaun. That would be the. I live in Indiana. I live in, if you had to live in Indiana. So anyway, we're not there, but or you can start. Right? But yeah, Travis pattern can definitely. Although I do Travis pattern on the banjo, but when I was just recently was kind of going through a bunch of banjo, they're called rolls, trying to get some of those under my fingers. None of them were really Travis-like. I mean, there are a lot of up and down rolls and inside out rolls and things like that. But yeah, I didn't think Henry Harrison was, yeah. But I think politically he saw his career in Indiana, right? That's how he ascended to the presidency. And he didn't wear his coat at the inauguration. he didn't want to wear a coat at the inauguration, and he caught pneumonia and he died 30 days later. I believe that's a true story. Fact check that, but I think that's from Parks and Rec. I learned that from Parks and Rec. So that's why you have to fact check everything I say, because generally everything I learn from sitcoms. But when I'm messing around with the open tunings, I just naturally kind of gravitate towards that Travis pattern. And again, the idea of the Travis pattern is to have this kind of pulse, and I have some videos on the Travis pattern. It's a great way to kind of keep things going. Same thing. Sorry. And I've kind of been practicing more with a thumb pick because the way I clip my nails. I'll try this one. It doesn't feel very tight. See, it's got a plastic tip on it though, but it's a metal thumb pick with a plastic thing. But it allows my bass note to be louder. And I think, what's his name? Leo Kaki he played like open D on a 12 string and he used nails. So he got a lot of noise going on. He would do strumming and kind of almost flamenco type stuff, and then go ready. That's a cool little thing you can do melodically or harmonically too. You can think of it both ways. Remember how we did this? Okay, you can do that on the second and third string. Very bluesy sounding. Wendy, what's going on? Now I feel like my thumb's too loud. So it's like, I don't want to kill my... Oh, what? I don't get an emoji, Wendy? What's wrong? I don't know if Christopher's still here, but Christopher Wills, but yeah, whatchamacallit, Lydian has two leading tones, and I almost feel like Dorian almost has two resolving tones. You know, it's like a, even major. I have to be careful. Did I already pull it up? I feel like I'm going to break my ring fingernail. Yeah, I was playing lute this morning. Everybody take a sip because I'm going to change guitars. And I told you before, I wish I hadn't gotten an 8-course lute because it's really hard to find that E string. Woo. I'm out of tune. Actually, I broke the stupid, what's it called? A descant? I'll look it up. There's a name for the the way, yeah, it looks broken, doesn't it? So the way it's tuned is basically, well, I have it tuned D, E, G, and then from here it's like from the G, it's kind of like the top 5, all 6 strings capo to the 3rd fret. So it's G, C, F, B flat, D, and then G on top. But as soon as I started tuning this thing, which is a pain in the butt, as soon as I started tuning it, yeah, it's not going to hear it, but I can hear it here. I broke that high E string. Well, and the pegs are really small. They hurt my hand when I try to turn them. So that's why I'm using this thing to kind of get a softer grip on it, so I don't have to. I can be real slow on it because it's 1-to-1 gear ratio. See, these are friction tuners. They're awful. See that? It's pretty. It's a pretty instrument. Yeah, like violin tuners. So you move it just a fraction and it goes up a whole step. So, you have to be really, it just takes forever to kind of get it in there. And then, of course, they get loose and you have to push them in again. That's why I've got this little, I don't have it out right now, but I have a little teeny baby hammer that I can tap them in without trying to break the headstock. And then it's got zip ties for frets. And that's not unusual. They didn't have zip ties back then, but in fact, these are not. These are actually some kind of tied in and melted. What you can do with a nylon string is like at the end here, if you want it to be a little bit more secure and not pull through, you can take a match to the tip and it'll ball it up, and then it's more difficult to go through the hole. You're still going to want to wrap it around a bunch of times. But I broke the E string, or the top string. Let me look it up real quick because I'm trying to remember what the term is for lute wiki. And I'd already that string was already taken from a set, and sets are like $44 for a set of strings for this thing. And I'm like, I'll be damned if I'm going to open up a set for one string for $44, and then the rest of the set's pretty much useless. Let's see, tuning. Historically, animal gut, yeah, these not. Let me see if I can find it on the page. Or strings. Let me look up strings. Anybody look it up? But yeah, so these are octaves, 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 and then unison, 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 and then a single string. So it's kind of the melody string is a single string. So you might do stuff like, you might play an E minor chord like. I don't know. But I was able to get the session done for the game, the Chinese game company. And I think I got it done. We'll see. They're very particular. They may send it back and have me do it 5 more times. But I get paid by the hour, so that's okay. They know that. Oh. So, but then there's a name for the. Okay, no sharp flat tunes, blah, blah, blah. Baroque. Yeah, it was. I couldn't do it. I don't know what would happen if the fret ever came off. I would be in bad shape. I mean, I'd be fine getting a lute that had regular frets. And like I said, if I bought another lute, or if I had it to do over again, I would just gotten a 6-course lute. It would feel more like a guitar in my hand. So a 6-course lute would be 11 strings, because you have octaves on the bottom, unisons on top, and then a single string on top. So it's kind of like a 12-string, but the top string would only be a single string. Now, one of the things that's really cool about it is that the double string nylon. There's not many instruments. Oud and lute are very closely related, and yeah. Can I guess what you did? Did you yell out? Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus. Sam is the name of the chord. I'm thinking about getting a cello, because I think I could probably play cello on like a soundtrack or something. If I was working on a score, I could probably get cello well enough. I feel like the ergonomics of cello are much more natural to me than the ergonomics of a violin. I think I can see my hands better, all that kind of thing. And I'm not interested in doing that. So I have a friend that plays violin really well, and if I need him for something, I could totally pay him to do something. But generally, the cello thing would be like, okay, I can hit let a note ring out, or find a pitch and hit it and let it ring out. I could probably even play some lines on a cello, I think, if I had a week with one. So, okay, get back to work, Catherine. Oh, I forgot, Catherine's on the big screen. I forgot to mess with it. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what the name of that string is called. Jason, 10 course. 10 course. See, what I have is an 8 course. Man, I don't know if I could handle a 10 course. 8 course, the neck is so wide. And of course they have those, what are they called? The arch lutes or something like that. They have the strings way low, and they're giant. Sting played one, right? Anyway, I can't remember what the strings are called. All right. Yeah, exactly. Find my inner Yo-Yo Ma. That isn't going to happen. Let's see what else is going on. So when I'm writing on like I think you just kind of mess around. Yeah, I could totally, pizzicato. I could totally play staccato or pizzicato. pizzicato is when you kind of pluck the string. Staccato is just when you do a short note. Pizzicato is more like plucking the string and making the string bounce against the fretboard. But they call it a fretboard? Fingerboard, probably. They call it fingerboard in violin, right? But like here's a D7, a D9 chord. So if you play like a D chord, if you play a D chord, that would be D9, but with a flat 5 or no, sharp 11. But if I take that off and just play these two notes, that's a beautiful chord right there. I have D, A, D, F sharp, C, where's our 7th, and then E on top. Just doing the same thing at the 5th fret. Over the A, over the E. I've never heard of Over Zero Sum Groove by Sithu Aoi on the lute. That is, yeah, Tom does, no, Tom doesn't, Bruce meant to say. I don't generally play too many other songs that could be recognizable because I don't want to get copyright strikes or I don't want to have this video taken down. But yeah. We're just kind of talking about writing in open D. And just basically when you're writing, you know, like fingerstyle stuff, it's kind of all about experimenting and just trying to find stuff. Kind of like, was it Holly that you said just moving the chords around, or was that Catherine? I can't remember, or Wendy. It may have been Wendy. I don't know. It was one of you ladies said that. C chord to the A chord to the E chord. Oh, it's all good. Now, if I want to make a minor sound, so the major sound is the 3 strings kind of in a row here. Let's see if we can see that. So I'm playing 5th fret, and then I'm deadening the A string, and then I'm playing 5th fret and 5th fret, and then open, okay? But if I wanted to make that G minor, I take that pinky off, and I add my first finger 1 fret down on the 4th fret. And now I get that beautiful minor 4 chord. So you got minors, and so you can have A minor. I could even do, if I went like this. So here's a D minor in open D major. Okay, so we're in D major chord. But if I want D minor, I gotta get rid of this F sharp. So I go to the 3rd fret and play that. And now I have 2 A's. So I'm like tuning my A string. And then I go to the 3rd fret also of the 4th string. And that's a D minor chord. I could also add the F on top. So if I want that, and then go to, so I could technically play D minor in open D major. Not a problem. You just have to keep tabs on that 3rd string and make sure it's never open. The string cannot be open. You got to have something on it at all times or mute it, and then you can play in D minor. But we're generally, when we're in this key, we're going to play D major. E minor would be this. Again, that's not going to be a perfect E minor, I've got E, G, so that's an E minor sound. I'm muting again the 5th string. Open A string, so that's the 4th, and then I've got the D, which is the 7th, so it ends up being kind of an E minor 7 add 4. If I go here, technically that sounds almost more like a D over F sharp than it does an F sharp minor chord. If I put the pinky on the right here, you can see I got the pinky on the 2nd string. Then that's pure F sharp minor right there. F sharp, A, C sharp. And then if I go up here to G major, I can make G major minor just by, again, taking the pinky off and put my first finger behind where the pinky was. And that's a beautiful chord because I have that A string with it. So I get this, that dissonant B flat and A thing, but then in context, I don't know what happened to Tyler, but you must have seen me playing the lute. And then A major and A minor. I get B minor here, up at the basically 9, 9, 8, open, open. It's basically B minor 7. A lot of minor chords. But there's times, obviously, where you want a minor chord. So I like the minor 5 chord, sounds nice too. Go to the G major. It's very mixolydian. The A minor to G major to D basically. And the A minor, I have an A here and a D, so it's kind of A minor add 4. And this is again the G2 chord, and into the 1 chord. A minor, G major, D major. So the B minor, just take that A minor shape up, and so I'm playing 9, 9, 8, open, open, B minor 7, so we can do very poppy progressions. Could even strum them. Was that photographed by Ed Sheeran? Same chord, you know, million songs of this chord. Open. 5th, 7th. Now I can't do a bar minor chord, but if I want, I can do this and then go. Kind of like how Dolly Parton played guitar on Johnny Carson when she had long nails. Let's see. That's kind of nice. So B minor, G, T. Nice little pop progression. Again, I could do it with fingerstyle and it sounds like a fingerstyle song. And then at that point, you start messing around. Fishing. I'm just fishing. You having a flashback there, Wendy? Teach a man to fish, eh, Tom? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fish. Yeah, exactly. Teaching. It's just fishing. You know, it's just that's the most fun part about making music is just finding something and going, wow, that's just cool. Was it David, not David Rawlings, different David, the fingerstyle guy, where he does different tuning and different capoing configuration for every song. Very complex. I think he always has to take a tech with him, otherwise it would be. But I'm sure he doesn't always know what notes he's playing. I mean, his ear could be really good and he can have perfect pitch, and maybe he does. But basically, you know, my thinking is that he's just kind of memorizing what he's playing. He comes up with something that's just really cool or beautiful or whatever. And I think all music should be beautiful, even heavy death metal. I mean, ultimately, something about it needs to be beautiful. It needs to have some kind of connection with emotion. But beauty is one of the best ways to do that. So, what is this? Oh, this is my string lifter. Got so much crap on this on my desk here around my piano. I've got a piano here. Anyway, all right, so piano. Where is it? Why am I not hearing piano? Oh, I have my headphones on, that's why. Yeah, see, I'll get in trouble with that. Yeah. It's been too long since I played. That's a great chord. I'll probably get a copyright strike for that. So I was playing, what is that? What a Fool Believes. That first chord is great. It's, again, there's that dissonance. And, but in the context of the chord, it's kind of like a C4 over G. But he's just... I love that. diminished chord. It's like, what the? Woo. How often do you have diminished chords in pop songs? I mean, seriously, What a Fool Believes. So if anyone's wondering what I had to cut out here, it was What a Fool Believes. Yep. Kenny recorded it too, though, didn't he? But the Doobie Brothers one was the hit. I have a friend that plays drums with the Doobie Brothers. Or he did. I don't know if he still is. I occasionally used him at church to play drums, but he was always on the road, so it was hard. Oh, you associate that with being pregnant in the 80s. Oh, there you go. I associate that song with my band and my disco band in high school, because I think it was one of the songs I think it was 78 is when that record came out. This was another one that was like a big piano one when I was a kid. Yeah, that was... This keyboard is a lot harder to play than... This one's actually weighted like a real piano, so I'm just not in shape. It's... pedal is running away from me. So the 11th chords were really big back in the 70s. Yeah. I mean, it's good to have a little bit of piano knowledge. You know, I can find any chord on piano pretty much. I don't know all the best voicings. Like I do a lot of like B3 stuff and funky things. And I learned that like one of the best ways, like an E7 sharp 9, is basically to voice it kind of the same way as the guitar players do. So it'd be like, I can't do it on that, but that Jimi Hendrix chord. But what you've got here is you've got the sharp 9, I mean the 3rd and the sharp 9. You can reverse those. So instead of having the G sharp on bottom and the G on top, you can have the G on bottom and G sharp on top. And that's kind of like, you got that D in the middle and you get, there's your, but you can also, it's cool. You start to discover stuff like that, and then you transfer it to guitar, and you're like, wait, that's dope. Why didn't he? Well, it's harder to play that way. It makes sense that the Hendrix played it the way he did, but yeah. So it's good to have a little bit of... It's funny because my fan's on, and I can hear... All right, I got to get going. It's getting hot in here. I don't have the AC. Well, I have the AC. I don't know if the AC's on yet. It's going to be 90 something today. But anyway, Year of the Cat. What year was that? What are we talking about? Year of the Cat, 74. He's from Scotland. Yeah, I don't know if that was that old. I think it was also like 78. That was a pretty influential year for me musically, because it was when I was playing in a high school band and I was really listening to music and figuring songs out, and we were kind of having band rehearsals and gigs. We were having gigs, and that was, scary and fun at the same time. Meeting the girls. So, Year of the Cat. Oh, 76, that early. Okay. I would have thought it was more like 78, but yeah. I'm trying to think what other. Well, there was also, what key is Layla in? Is it G? Let's see. Is it? Oh, no, it would be like, no, I don't. It was C. Nail. Yeah. That was after my, see, I learned all these piano songs when I was living at home in Indiana because my mom had a piano. So I could sit down at the piano and try to figure stuff out. Oh, right. D minor. You're right. Yeah. Layla's D minor. You're right. Sorry. But yeah, the coda is, see, that's what I'm thinking of, is the end section. The piano part that everybody plays. Tom, suggest you add the scale interval patterns for the other two modes to screen graphics. Oh, you mean yeah, I could do that. Let's see, which one was this? That one? Yeah. All right, so the Lydian formula is, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, is whole, half, half, whole, half. Mixo is whole, half, whole, half, whole. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what you meant, Bruce. Oh, it's sped up to C sharp. Interesting. Yeah, okay, that, yeah. So pretty much when I moved to California in 1983, that was in January of 83, that was when I stopped having a piano at my beck and call. So I remember writing, I wrote pretty much only one song on piano after that a long time ago. And it was when I had access to this piano at a church that I was doing a lot of recording at. The coda wasn't credit to Rita Coolidge. Wait, did she write it? Or was it just based on a song? Love that. But that's, I mean, this is Rachmaninoff. It's also, I mean, I'm sure Bach did that 1,000 times. So I don't know that you could say that was, but I'm not sure. I'll look into that as soon as we're done here. All right, so next week, I don't know what we're going to do. We may continue on the open D. I'm not sure, but I'll do something hopefully next Monday, Lord willing, if I'm here. And I think that's what you wanted, Bruce, was the Lydian formula, the formulas down here. It's a good thing to know. It makes it a lot easier to kind of come up with scales in all 12 keys if you know a formula. So anyway, God bless you all. I want to see, what do we have? We peaked out at about 24. Yeah, at about 10 o'clock my time. We got up to 23 at about 10:20. You know, we've been sitting at 19 almost the whole time. Every time I look, it says 19. So, you know, that's what happens when you take a weekend off or Monday off. People, hi, Pepper. Sorry, I saw you up there really briefly, and you guys have been so chatty. The chat thread has been moving really fast. So, but yeah, we'll talk. I'll see you next Monday, like I said, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do. I won't know until I sit down, probably. Sorry. Maybe more of the same. I mean, I love playing in open tunings. It's a lot of fun to mess around. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for... this would be really boring if I were by myself doing this, you guys. So it'd be kind of pathetic, too. It's pretty pathetic now, but it'd be even more pathetic if there was no one watching. So I appreciate you all.